Trek fans, this is Jay from 21st Century Reviews, bringing you a review for Star Trek, the official Starships collection presented by the Eaglemoss Company, issue number 2, the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701. With this issue, we had basically a breakthrough design in Trek. This came out in the mid-1970s when the first motion picture was released. We saw this particular ship through the first 3 of the Trek films in the original cast group. This ship, iconic in and of itself. I mean, this thing was probably, at least in my opinion, it's one of my favorite designs by far. The Eaglemoss has done a really excellent job of capturing the essence of this design. However, there are some flaws to it and everything. So I'm not going to nitpick it. I am going to point out the things I like about it first. But we're going to just kind of move forward from there and kind of take a little peripheral view of it and kind of go slow so my autofocus doesn't go out of complete and total range. This is a section of the fore section right here on the front of it. One of the things that they did was they changed the nacelles on the ship. The pylons that held them up from the engineering module section up to the actual nacelles themselves were swept back, kind of give it a more futuristic, aerodynamic kind of design. It's better to be seen probably from the side view, because you can kind of see how they're kind of just swept backward and everything, and then you've got the introduction of clear plastic blue pylons that run the axis of the actual engine housings. But that's one of the things I actually have the problem with when it comes to this model, because unless you're watching a restored version of the films, you really don't see the blue hue of them, except on the interior of the panels, which would be located right in there. Everything, never on the outside. Whenever you would see it on the outside, it would be black, jet black. And the fact that the very front of them, right up in here, everything, is also a clear plastic blue is off, as well as on the side. The spot right there. It's not supposed to be blue. It's supposed to be black. You know, some people may argue that point with me. That's okay. We all have our opinions of it and everything, but in my viewings of Star Trek, and to be honest, I kind of consider myself a self-proclaimed expert in Trek, it's black. Let's just be honest. It's black. It's not supposed to be blue. But that being a side note, at least when light is flashing through it, it actually looks kind of clever and kind of cool. But it's not accurate. So for screen accuracy, we're going to actually kind of give it a, kind of a big thumbs down. On point, though, to say, the front section of it does look nice. The alignment of the nacelles over the saucer section actually looks like it's supposed to. The application of the decals on the top, everything, is pretty spot on. I'm not sure why some of it is more pronounced than others in regards to the Aztecing on the top. Aztecing is a modeler's term to refer to grooves, contours, and lines of sight that you can kind of see on it. And when some of it's flush and some of it's not, it kind of makes a bit of a hindrance for the model itself. So it's something that you definitely want to watch out for. You don't want to, I guess, for lack of a better term, you really don't want to, what's the best way to put it? You want to make sure that they're even, they're fluid, and they're straight and they're accurate. Otherwise, it throws the entire look of the model off. And in this one, right around where the registration number is, it's a bit off. The contours are much more pronounced on the surrounding areas of the upper part of the primary hull area. That being said, the bottom of it, which I'm going to actually flip this over in a minute and actually kind of look at the bottom of it, which is one of my chief complaints with the model. Totally different story, but that's again something different. My other main gripe with this is, and again, I don't want to zoom in too far, but they make such a point of putting accents to the warp nacelles and giving them clear plastic parts that they don't normally have. They made it a point to completely forget about the impulse engines. The impulse engine is painted on. Not a huge complaint from a modeler perspective, because of course I've painted many things that should probably have a clear plastic front to them that don't. But in this instance, you made it such a point to do the such attention to detail in regards to the warp nacelles. I feel like you kind of left it out on the impulse engines. It's kind of a nitpick and kind of a complaint as a modeler and as a Trek fan, but it's just something that bothers me. So give me 1 second, I'll be right. Okay, so I'm back. I flipped the model over to kind of give you some insight into what I'm talking about on the bottom. Now, on the very bottom of this, you'll notice that the contours are slightly off. Everything. There's gaps in between areas of where the housings should actually meet and where they don't. As a modeler, like I said, it's kind of a gripe of mine whenever companies don't pay enough attention to that kind of stuff. To be honest, it's difficult as a modeler to actually do them and to fill in the gaps, but that's why they give you modeling putty and things, and with proper contouring tools and everything, you can fill in pretty much any gap you need to and make smooth contours that actually look natural and flow like they're supposed to. So let me flip this one more time. Okay, sorry, we're back again. So on a whole, I'm kind of creating a scale as I'm learning more about how to do these videos and everything. We're going to kind of give it a grade based on screen accuracy to the original model that's in the actual movie/TV show. We'll also kind of give accuracy points in regards to colors, the Aztecing on the actual ships, and then kind of grade them accordingly. So, there's going to be a few more factors in there to make sure, lines are followed, decaling is done properly and everything. I've followed a lot of other YouTubers, notably Irish Trekkie, Soundwave SG1, I think that's his name. Sorry if I butchered your name, bro, but I do watch your videos, so you guys are awesome to me. But one of my main complaints with this particular model is the color. It's kind of this blue-gray tone that you usually see, again, as a modeler, you'd use it on set, like aircraft kind of colors that you would paint like F-14, F-15, and F-18 kind of models, where it's kind of like a bluish sea-toned gray overtone. And it's not to say that that's wrong for this model, but sorry, it's wrong. It's not the right color. This ship should be white. It should be a very, very white tone. And when it's not, it kind of sticks out, and it's kind of abundantly clear that it's not the right color. So we'll kind of do a pan of the ship. Forgive my stand, it's kind of an old stand, and it's my cheap way of not having an electric one like another great YouTuber has and everything. But to be honest, the flow of the ship is good. The window placements and everything seem to be spot on my model. The decals are improperly placed. There's emphasis on the phaser banks. There's a good amount of detail in certain areas of it and everything, and then it seriously lacks in others. And unfortunately, that's kind of a gripe for me. So I'm only going to give it about, I'm going to say a 7 out of 10 rating. And I'm going to be changing my rating system probably in the next video just to kind of put it in conjunction with my movie rating system. Just because, for me, it's just, nah. I like it, but I like my actual, Diamond Select. I like my Diamond Select Enterprise far better than I like this one. And sadly, the soundboard in my Diamond Select one is kind of not so good, so... Anyway, feel free to leave comments, questions of any kind in the comment section. Hopefully I've covered most of the basis for this particular model. Jay from 21st Century, hollering at you. And hey, like I said, when it comes to working on these things, we're working on it.